This is cool.
Alright, what we have here is High Score Girl. Look at this cover. Boom, yellow. I like that the characters are right there in view, although it is simple. Okay, what's the back say? The year is 1991, and the golden age of 2D fighting games is nigh. And in a rundown arcade on the outskirts of town, surrounded by delinquents, nerds, and businessmen, a girl descends with dignity into her seat at the game cabinet. Her name is Akira Ono, and she is about to humiliate hardcore gamer Haruo Yaguchi. Will Haruo ever live down losing to a girl from his class?
Where to start? Let's go with the art. It's odd, really odd. Like the artist can't draw, or is going for a sketchy, unfinished look, though the art style is distinct. Kids are out of proportion all the times, and the elderly are drawn like they're from a horror manga. At times, the main character can be lost in a group, for all the kids look alike. Now for the most important part. This is a video game manga, not based off a video game. It is about video games and the golden era of the 90s. Arcades, the Famicom, the Super Famicom, PC Engine, PlayStation 1. This manga is a love letter and a time capsule to older gamers who remember these days. It shows the main character talking about Street Fighter a lot. Although the main character's main focus is Street Fighter, we get a lot of information about arcade centers, home consoles, many different types of games in this era, gaming companies, along with technique terms and fighting game terminology. If you don't know a lot about these topics, there might be parts where you're confused, and unfortunately these parts, which are very important to this manga, will mean nothing. What this manga is doing is tugging at the heartstrings of the gamers of this era, which ties into the plot. It is a slice of life, literally the day in life of these two main characters. Haruo is struggling in school, yet he is a pro gamer. He lives and breathes video games, and everyone around him sees him as a loser. Haruo isn't the stereotype aloof character. Although he's failing school, but out of all the other kids, he's kind, considerable, reasonable, realistic, and very observant. He's very mature for his age. You can already foresee that there's going to be growth with him. He's such a likable character that you're going to be rooting for him. I actually wish I had Haruo as a friend. The second character we introduce is Haruo's rival, Ono. She is Miss Perfect at school. She is loved by everyone, but people don't know who she is. Ono is just as obsessed with video games as Haruo. These two start out with a competitive hatred for each other, which turns into a friendly rivalry. These two are well written. Within chapter 3, we know a lot about them. This made me realize that this manga is fast-paced. It does not linger. Within the first 10 pages, the plot is established. It is a quick read. If you don't like fillers, this is a plus. Back to what I said about the characters being well written, the dialogue is good too. Each character has their own voice. I was never confused on anyone speaking. Adding to the dialogue, the story relies on it. It's what makes the story. The story itself is simple, and it's not trying to be anything or anything more. It's very solid in what it is. The manga is goofy and over-exaggerated with silly moments, and then at other times it is very heartfelt. I will point out that there is language and sexual harassment parts, which made me remember back when I was in 6th grade. There was always that one kid or two that made the sex jokes all the time. Me and my friends would always ignore them. It's probably worse nowadays. And the silly moments are over-exaggerated, especially with the elderly and the teachers disciplining. Remember, this manga is in Japan. Their sense of humor and their view on sex jokes are going to be different to other countries. So just chill and ignore it if you don't find it funny. It's only a few panels. Other than that, the world building is very interesting. Besides being in Japan, Haruo talks about pivotal events, especially gaming news and releases. So what's my rating for this manga? 5 being absolutely neutral, 10 being the best thing I ever read. I give High Score Girl a 10. It's one of my top 3 favorites. I'm from this era of gaming, and I loved every moment of it. I could relate to Haruo and Ono. I wish they were my best friends, felt for them, I'm rooting for them, and I loved reliving this era. If you are a retro gamer, give this a read.